everyone to think, you know, all Uber drivers are like that. There are very nice Uber drivers out there who...
Well, hopefully, I think that will go back. Hello!
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
So, I would like to introduce you Elmi. What Elmi does, he works with RootsTV, which is, he works with a lot of young people in film, editing, and all these sorts of things. And I think maybe you would do more justice by explaining what you do.
Okay.
Would you like to explain and tell us what is it that you do with RootsTV?
Yeah, well, RootsTV has been going now for the last 5 to 6 years, and is a non-for-profit organization, and we work with highly at-risk youth and disengaged youth who just either been released from the local prison, or they have a low social, who struggle with social barriers. So what we do is, as other organizations, they use sport and they use other way of connecting with young people. We use media and filmmaking as an alternative way from crimes, and hopefully we could engage them into quite meaningful story sharing. So yeah, so RootsTV is a non-for-profit aim working with highly at-risk youth, and by developing their skills in story sharing and film production. So we film and produce content on social issues, mental health, cyberbullying, sense of identity, and we get our referrals from the schools, either from the prison or from the JJT, which is the Juvenile Justice Team. So they come to the center and we introduce the work we do. We have a beautiful studio. So yeah, so we teach them how to hold the camera, tell the stories through post-production. And the work we do is quite visual also, because sadly some of the young people that we get come to the center struggle with basic literacy. So we focus on a lot of visual skill development. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we do, and we're really quite humbled. I started RootsTV about 5-6 years ago by myself. I was really by myself. Nobody understand really what I was doing. Quite humbled now that I'm working with other organizations to hopefully to change some of the vulnerable young lives that we have here.
Wow, that's really wonderful. Recently, last week I would say, I went to the studio. I've always heard about it, but I wasn't even sure it was near our local area here. And when I entered there, I was like, wow, amazed. It's like a heaven for young people to be. And at a moment when I saw this, I wish that I was a teenager again.
Me too. Every time I go there.
Wow, you know.
So we
never grow old.
I know. So we have upstairs. We have a youth center also.
Yep.
So the young people come there, and we open quite late also. And one of the reasons we open late, we don't want them to go and up to no good when they go to the city. So it's really nicely located. So upstairs we have a youth center where they have pool table. They got the internet to browse. We got a small library there also. And the ground floor is that's where we do the production. So we funded by the Attorney General to keep the programs running, and we got our other subsidized support from other organizations as well. So yeah, so we're only part of the solution, but it takes the whole of the community to support the work we do. So we work closely with Headspace and organizations that specialize on mental health challenges for some young people. We work with about 12 schools also in WA, so we develop our capacity since we have the center now. We work with parents, we work with local stakeholders. So yeah, it's a big mechanism that we're trying to develop, and we're really quite humbled to be in position to say that we really change a lot of our young people that will come to the center.
This is wonderful. I wish sometimes like that our community, our African community, would be more aware of this, like the parents, so that they work together.
Yeah.
And they can make a really, really big impact.
I think our African community, just like in other community, we have a lot of challenges. I mean, you've got the second generation, the third generation, but it's still a long way to go, but
Yeah.
the majority of our community are really proactive in so many different capacity, and we start to see really young. One thing that we do with RootsTV is
Yeah.
we give opportunity for emerging young people who came from different backgrounds to come and be part of it. So we have over 3 to 4 youth workers now working for us. We got
Lovely.
over 11 volunteers. So yeah, so the voice, our story is getting heard, but definitely that doesn't mean that we have to be complacent, and we
That's
still
true.
need to work with other organizations as well.
And is there like a specific age to be part of this? If anyone who does not consider himself a teenager but just loves the environment and the idea, what can they do to
Yeah.
be part of this other than from helping from far?
Well, one thing we decided to do with RootsTV is we have no demographic. We work with all kind of young people.
Yeah.
So we could work with young people from the local Aboriginal community to the African community. So we work with literally with anyone, and our age gap is really starting from 8 years old to up to 25 years old. So we got people who've been either left high school and struggle with some barriers, and they come back again. So yeah, we're trying to focus on that space of maybe 24 to 25 maximum that we work with, just because of our limitation in terms of capacity. But yeah, it's we're growing really quite big, and it's something I've always been very passionate about. I've been working with young people 30 years now.
Wow.
For such a long time, and it's very emotionally driven field to go to, especially community work. Yeah, and there's no ego in it. It's something that you have to do out of your passion.
Yes.
And and you're gonna learn how to detach yourself also, because you work with young boys who are heavily marginalized with massive barriers. I mean, we're talking about self-harmers, mental health, you name it, lack of role models, and it takes a process. We have some books, we have some young people in our book who've been with us now for the last 3 years, and they're still struggling with barriers. So we don't create miracles, we're trying to really build a relationship, and that's the main thing for us.
Okay, so with this barrier that you're talking about, what is it exactly they struggle with? They come in, they can't focus, or they're having home.
Yeah, I mean, domestic violence is quite big of some of the young people that we come across. Lack of role models, especially father figures. There's no father figures, sadly, in some of the families that we come across. And you got the young boy who grow up in an environment where he doesn't see positivity at all. Yeah, it's quite difficult. So he have no figure, a father figure to look up to. Yes, the mother's doing an amazing job, but I think having that father figure in that, especially with the boy's life, is really quite imperative, especially from the age when they grow up, and I've seen that really on a daily basis in our center.
So that means one of your roles is also to be a father figure for them.
Well, it's one of the hardest thing to claim to be like a father figure, but what we're trying to do, we try to be even like a brother to them, that we're there to support you. Some of them they love it. They never been like talk in a positive way toward them. So when they do we have a young boy called Adam, and I'm using his name Adam, not to declare his real name, but he's been with us now for 2.5 years, and the only thing he does, he's our boom stand, so he holds the microphone. He's doing an amazing thing, and he's quite a young boy. And for him, that gives him that sense of identity that he's doing something productive. And and especially to have his name on the credit list for him, and he received an award from the school, and just last year he was part of the production for the local school graduation. So he's been really going beyond and further really about the work we do, and for us that's really an outcome.
It is amazing, isn't it? Like just someone who holds.
I remember him when I first met him. He said to me, "Oh, hey Elmo, can I tell you a joke?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, go ahead." And I didn't even manage to walk to the house, and he said, "Okay," and he started telling me jokes from Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, the famous American comedians. And I said to him, "You're quite a funny young boy. Why you want to be a comedian?" And he said, the reason I want to be a comedian because I never saw my mother's teeth before.
Wow.
He said one day I told her a joke and he said, "Mama, this is what I want to do. I want to make you happy all day," and that's for him was a story, yeah, inspiration for him to see his mother who do struggle with drugs and alcohol. So he's in a way better place now.
Wow, that's
wonderful. And to have RootsTV part of his development was really quite good. But again, we need the family, the school, his counselor, anybody who have involvement with this young boy.
Yeah.
But he's way better than before.
Wow, this is heart touching, really.
Yeah.
Where's the boy from? What country?
He's
nationality?
He's a young indigenous boy, and he's really doing well. And he just done for us another project for community care.
Yeah.
He's about 13 years old now.
Wow.
So he's been with us for the last 3 years now.
That's lovely.
And one thing that we also do with RootsTV is we do a lot of prison visitation. So we go to Banksia prison a lot.
Yeah.
And we build our relationship with some of the young boys who end up being sentenced there for time.
Wow.
So we introduce the work we do, and hopefully by the time they come out of prison, they have a place where they could come, and hopefully that will help them either to get a future job.
Yeah.
Because we provide for them a reference also. You know, they've been involved with some of the projects we've done. So that's something of the continuity planning. It's and for us, sustainability is very important. The moment that you step into their life, you don't want to disappoint them because they already came across a lot of disappointment anyway.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And is there anything that you guys are planning, like for prevention programs, like so that the youth do not end up going the wrong way, other than this part, like where you do like prison tours and things like? Because I thought those are excellent.
Yeah. So
when I saw them on,
so what we do,
TV.
some of the young boys now who just been released from prison and been with us now, who are really in the right path. We do school visitation also. Yeah. So we speak with year 7 to up to year 11 about those young people who experience drugs and alcohol. Yeah. So school visitation is quite important. And so that's one thing that we are trying, and we give them opportunities for them to become a social workers too, because you know social work people do see it as a kind of like really not a dignified job. Yeah, it's all about becoming an engineer and a doctor and earn an immediate money. But with social work, a lot of people do see it as it's not a meaningful job. But I've got the highest regard for people who work in that space.
Yeah, me too. I agree. That's a very what do you call it? It has a big impact on people's lives. Exactly.
And
because don't look down on that.
Oh yeah, I mean sadly some of them do. I'm not sure, and it reflects on the wide spectrum that people is the social worker or the youth worker. But they have no clue about how hard it is to become a youth worker, because you bring yourself as a as a catalyst of support for young people as well. So it's we do so many programs for young people, and and we give them. We have the youth advisory committee. It's created by RootsTV board. And it's a group of young people from the age of 18 to 25 years old. So they talk about real issues in the community, and they report back to the board, telling us, guys, this is what really happening. You need to address this issue. You need to address. So it's good to have this board to give us more insight.
This is lovely. I've never had so much information like this. All these years I've known you, and I kind of feel guilty because I was not there at times.
That's fine.
To be just at least to be aware of what you do and the impact you're having on the youth, and I'm concerned about the youth, and I wish they all go the right way. And for me personally, right now, I feel like I can't do much, but the only thing that I feel right now that I'm able to do at my best is to get this message out there, and that all the parents can hear about it, the friends, and so that they know there's a helping hand out there, and not to give up hope.
And I just want to add also, I mean, for people who came from different backgrounds like us, and settled here in Australia, there's a lot of support for for young people in terms of developing their either personal life or professional life. So we should really take those services. Like there's so much help for if you're looking for somebody to help support you with a resume and a job readiness. There's so many organizations that provide the service for us, and for a community like us, we need to access, or at least to raise awareness about that there are some amazing organizations there, way better than what the work that we do has been established for a long time. And I think we should not really make excuses. We should really be proactive. Challenges are always going to be, but one thing that, like I said, you talked about the youth start to concern you. I mean, I've been going to the local prison, seeing some of the young boys in prison, and we start to see young people who from the African community, numbers increasing, boys and girls. And I guess if there's any message for our brothers and sisters from the African community, that we really have to step up. We really have to address the issues deeply, with complete honesty.
Yes.
Because those young boys will breed other young generation who also have no role model in their life.
And
so
that's an ongoing.
So this message will be for the elders, for the people of faith, whether it's a pastor in church, whether it's imam in a mosque, that they need to address, understand how this generation really evolving.
Yes.
And obviously you've got the social media, that part of it, but those young boys need a voice, and it's very alarming to see young African boys in increased number in prison.
That's very, very sad. Because I remember a few years back, our local mosque at Mirabuka used to host lots of programs for the youth and the young ones. And I remember it was busy times, and
it was really busy. And
I learned a lot, even from attending those gatherings. I've learned a lot, so much, and it's sad that we no longer have those going on.
I know. And you can see there's a detachment now is taking place now, and so there is there's a lot of challenges, but that doesn't mean that we have to stop. We really have to continue the work we do, and
so I understand where you're coming from. I can see that the gap between the elders and the youth is being separated. Well, families used to go there.
I know. Well, that will bring us to our drama series that we're doing, The Family.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so we start. So we're starting the first ever African Australian drama series.
Yes.
Similar to Home and Away, but with the African family. And it talks about exactly what you just mentioned, that sense of identity where you feel African at home, but outside you want to become an Australian. You want to be a part of the community, but you've got the old generation who struggle with that. So for the first time, we are projecting through this drama series. It's called The Family, and we're going to start filming mid-March. So you got the mechanism of the father, who is an ex-general back home, and he's completely he want to go back home, and he's bringing all of this negative mechanism to the family. While the mother saying to him, no, our kids grown up here, and there's no way we're going to go back to Africa. We don't know nothing about it. And you got the son who dropped out of university, but he want to pursue his passion to become an artist, and his father cannot get that, saying to him, "Did we came all the way from Africa for you to become an artist?" And so you have it's a very exciting concept that we're trying to produce.
It is very interesting.
And hopefully our target audience is none the African community.
Yes.
To tell us really that this is our story, from us and by us and for us as well.
That's lovely. I really can't wait.
It's called The Family, and it's
The Family.
Yeah. And
can we find any information about that?
Yeah, you could go to the Facebook. It's called The Family Show.
The Family Show.
Or you could go to the website. It's called thefamilyshow.net.
Yep.
And it will take you to the website, and we just done the teaser. So the good thing about The Family also that we extended other communities. So we got an Aboriginal family there. We got an Indian family.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's lovely. International.
Yeah. So looking forward to it actually.
The human struggle is real.
The struggle is real, and really quite humbled being the producer.
Wow.